Welcome to BowieTV on Comcast for youth, community, and lifestyle stories that uplift and inspire. We're kicking off with How to Steam Your Dreams at the 2025 Ocean Bowl Games in Baltimore, where young gamers ages 8 to 14 tackle STEAM challenges from NBA math hoops to DIY fishing rods and problem-solving fun. Then on the Spotlight DMV, Prince George's County Councilwoman Blegay breaks down what's next for the Six Flags site, new retail plans in Westphalia, and updates on youth programs that matter. Tiny Mike Talks takes us overseas with Destiny as she shares her hilarious and heartfelt experience studying abroad in China, including life with a Russian roommate and mastering the squat toilet. On the Simply Bowie magazine show, Dr. Keisha Catlin of KC Realty shares her entrepreneurial journey and the best advice for young go-getters starting in 2025. In the Hair Kitchen, G. Marie shows us a full haircut demo with the 90-degree layering technique, perfect for cosmetology students mastering the state board exam. Homes of Color features artist duo Yuziki and Janua Nelson and their powerful story of elevating African art from humble beginnings to national recognition. And finally, Let's Talk with Paula breaks down how to avoid family conflict over inheritance and estates with expert insight from attorney Donald Bell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy BowieTV on Comcast.
We are super excited to have you here at the 3rd Annual Ocean Bowl Games.
Are y'all ready?
In this building off Pratt Street in Baltimore, research is changing how the world consumes seafood.
Obviously, we go to the ocean to harvest our fish. Don't forget, we have to remember that fish actually are the last hunt and gather animal crop. You don't go to the wild to harvest your cattle or your chicken or your pigs, but you do it for fish. And as a result, we became very efficient fishers, and we are very effectively emptying our ocean. So this has to change. And seafood or fish must be produced via agriculture, which is like any other crop. Like in our case, it's aquaculture.
The Institute of Marine and Environmental Technology, known as IMET, leads critical scientific research as our human population rises while fish stocks decline.
Welcome back to the 2024 Ocean Bowl Games in Baltimore. Diving into this epic event, let's go. I'm your host, Roman Sudan, and if you're ready to get your game on, let's go. Let's do this. Our participants have just wrapped up their 2024 Ocean Bowl STEAM League. So here's the day one breakdown. Over 250 kids from 6 different Baltimore City Parks and Rec centers, plus a few extra local teams are here to compete, strategize, and earn points. Now they're going to be doing brain games and playground games today. This is day one. Day two, they do e-gaming and esports. Okay? And it's Ocean Bowl. So this is the wonderful story about Dolphins and Jay got together. They started a sports league that reminds you of soccer and football. It's really cool stuff. We're going to be going from STEM-based stations. They're going to be doing 10 to 20 minutes per station brain games. They're going to be racking up points as they go. And let's not forget, there's serious prize money on the line. The Ocean Bowl champions will take $150 per player. and all other competitors can redeem their points for awesome points and prizes at the end. It's time to lock in, level up, and make some waves. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Are you guys excited? Yeah! We are super excited to have you here at the 3rd annual Ocean Bowl Games tournament. You guys are going to have an amazing time. We want you guys, most importantly, to have fun, right? No one wants to get a flag. So what do we need to do? What was that? Act right. So we need to all be on our best behavior, listen to our coaches, and follow directions, right? Okay, I want you guys to be able to earn as many points as possible. So have fun. Thank you to our sponsors, our partners. There's so many to announce. Fulton Bank.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yep. I'm borrowing the mic. I gotta give a shout out. Come on, Fulton Bank. Come on, real quick. Y'all clap up for Fulton Bank. Missionary, do you want to tell them what you're giving away and that wonderful extra little money you're talking about?
Talking about the winning prize.
Yes. Did y'all hear what she said?
They all get some money to open up a bank account. And if you open up a bank account, you can get an extra $100. Enjoy yourself, and thank you for having us be a sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a cold. Good morning, everybody. Who's here to have fun?
Good morning, Coach Phil. Let's go. Clap it up.
Well, that's what we're for primary STEM. And in addition, when this is through, in the fall, we'll have the Maryland STEM Fest for our 10th year. And we'll have fun events all across the state of Maryland. But if you come up today, we've got a lot of freebies. We've got Legos you can build with. We have a free video game you can try out. So come up to us on the 4th floor, on the 3rd floor. And remember, have fun and play safe.
What's he, Mike Tyson?
The technology and tech. This is the wonderful squad that did that. What y'all think about what happened? What happened with all these wonderful teams?
So the programming that I did over the last 3 weeks, and it got them really excited. Only thing I had to do was explain what we were doing, and they got to it. I didn't really have to do much. It's amazing that they retained the information and they got it done.
Oh, nice.
In partnership with the IMET, we're giving our participants hands-on exposure to aquaculture and also the incredible marine life that exists here in the Baltimore Harbor. And last but not least, the serious effects of pollution on our ecosystem. It's vital that we inspire the next generation to take better care of their communities, starting with something as simple as reducing litter and pollution. Think about it. That plastic bottle, that food wrapper, or toxic waste you toss on the ground, it doesn't just disappear. It can end up in our water supply, harming our marine life, like the famous Maryland blue crab and local species. And guess what? We eventually eat those same polluted seafood dishes. That is why Ocean Bowl Games aren't just about competition. They're about awareness, action, and creating future environmental leaders. So let's play, learn, and step it up for the planet.
Hey, Odin. How you doing, buddy? Man, listen, are you hungry, man? Yeah, I kind of figure you're hungry, man. So we got some fish for him. I don't know if this. Oh, I just went into the pond and grabbed it. Cameron, can you come in real quick? Oh,
first of all, let's put one back because this one needs some air. He needs a bit more water than the rest.
Okay.
Now, if we had to pick up one of these bad boys. Now, all of these actually are custom made by all the people that have been here today. So you're gonna
let me stop Odin from salivating. He's salivating.
Oh,
yeah.
Look away.
Yeah.
There's some unique design. I got this one with like a blue pink design. I like this one a lot. Hold on, there's a really neat fish in here. Got a little flounder. Some of them a little detached from the rest. But
that's a flounder, right?
It's a flounder.
Yes, exactly. That's what we learned here at IMET. A lot of the kids learned how to experience what it feels about aquaculture, biodiversity, and also about pollution, how important it is to keep animals and special marine mammals such as Odin safe from pollution and stuff like that. Tell me what, Odin loves to fish too with Jay. Jay's coming in later. I wish they could have been here both together, but Jay's busy building something. Can you get a fishing rod from an engineer? Let's show the kids, let's show them what they learned. do here at Ocean Bowl Games 2024. Do you got a fishing rod for me?
Oh, no, all the fish are theirs.
Oh, there's one right there. Oh, look at that fancy one. Listen, I know this is scary, but the first time you're gonna ever use a fishing pole. First time. Normally you use echolocation and a whole bunch of fancy stuff that dolphins had to catch fish. But we're gonna go ahead and see if you can use this thing
because
right
you got fins, I think this one's specially made for you.
I know. Look at this thing. Oh my God. You see this thing? This is awesome. Look at this thing.
All right. Put your fins in here. All right.
Now we're trying to catch a flounder. Which one? Who has a paper clip on there?
Oh.
Oh my goodness! He's catching it.
This is salmon.
Oh, he's got a salmon.
Oh,
Let's eat some salmon. This is what the kids had to do.
Yeah.
They got extra points for catching fish out of the water. We want to thank everybody. We want to thank Fulton Bank, all our sponsors, especially IMET for this wonderful experience. They gave us the idea for it. And that Sustainable Aquaculture PDF. It's pretty cool. Odin, thank you, buddy. See you later. Enjoy your lunch.
Hey, Spotlight fam, it is your girl Rose, and I am here today with Councilwoman Blegay from District 6 in Prince George's County. Welcome back to the Spotlight.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. And so, I really love to catch up and talk about what's happening in the county, and especially because we are 6 months into the year, about to enter into the 7th month with all that's going on with this new administration federally. And a lot of things happening here in the county as well. So let's get into all of that.
I can't wait to do it. This is an exciting time in the county, although we're hitting a bridge with some issues with the federal government and things like that. I mean, we were supposed to have the FBI, and we're going to get that back. We're going to fight for that. Some of those things have been impacted our economic development plans.
Yeah.
However, I would tell you this, things are still moving forward. And that's what makes me very optimistic about the future, is things are moving forward and haven't been as smoothly moving forward until really recently.
So let's talk about moving forward, because there's been a lot of chatter with, like you're saying, they're talking about losing things, the FBI, and then Six Flags, and then the Commanders. And it seemed like all of that kind of hit us at once.
Right.
And so many people were really surprised about Six Flags.
Right.
And now that we're past the shock of the news, they want to know what is going to happen with all of that space. And there have been a lot of ideas circulating on social media about what it could be. So what is the chatter with the council and thoughts going on along that?
So first of all, I will tell you, everyone, I was shocked myself when it came to Six Flags. We had no advance notice. And Six Flags was one of those community partners that worked with people. So we met with Six Flags monthly. I mean, not monthly, but like quarterly, for them to give updates of like what's going on and what, concerns that they have. So when they decided to require that, guardians in with kids under a certain age, we received that notice before time. And so I've never thought that if Six Flags was leaving, I would get such last minute notice. I got a call at 4:00 to talk with an executive with Six Flags, and literally it was on the news by 5:00.
Wow.
So it was so I was shocked and frustrated and upset, actually. But what I realized is that this is just a new turning page in the county. And I would say, look at that from all of the things that are happening. Sometimes bad news can create good news for the future. The loss of the Commanders, the closure of Six Flags, the loss of the FBI for now. And I'll say for now because, we're going to continue to fight.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that all of those things at once does create a moment of like frustration. But then this is a turning page in the county, and we could turn a page to the future of what will happen. And that we've seen that in other jurisdictions. We now have that moment, so we can build it. So number one with Six Flags, It's 500 acres of land. About 400 of the acres is developable. And when people say, "Oh, the council needs to determine," or that, you realize that is a private facility. So basically, the county has only certain control. Now, the reason why we have some leverage, and I would say not even control, leverage to get what we want, is because the council controls the zoning. That's what we do in economic development. We control the zoning. We can zone an area. We work with our parking planning that comes up with a plan of what the area should look like. What do people want? So when you get those meetings about parking plan, blue line corridor plan, show up, because what they're really coming up with is the concept of what you want to see. And with that concept, after that, then they will go out into the atmosphere, put it together, meet with a bunch of experts, and come up with a plan. And that's what the council can do. We could put that in the atmosphere, and what we want is for the private community, the developers, the business owners, everyone to look at that and see how they can fit in.
Yeah.
But Six Flags does have the right to do what they want on their property. But the reason why I have a little more control than other areas is because the zoning is very limited. The zoning is an AR zone. It's an agricultural zone. And what they did, since Six Flags has been there, and I would say not Six Flags itself, but a park amusement entertainment has been there for almost 5 decades.
Yeah.
So what they've done is that they haven't done anything with the underlying zoning, but they put a special exception on the entire property without any expiration. So this special exception is park amusement entertainment. So it means that that's what's there, and anything related to that can go there by right.
Okay.
So they don't have to come to the council for that, but anything else has to come to the council. So I know some people are saying, "Oh, well, what about, town hall? I don't want to have townhomes and apartments there." Well, they can't do that there because it's zoned for agriculture if you're not doing park amusement entertainment. So that means that anybody who wants to do something different, no matter what, has to come to the office to say, "What can we do?" Because you control the zoning.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up, because that has been a lot of the sentiment, and I know you've been very vocal about speaking about how development works in the county. At multiple town halls that I've been to, you've talked about all that zoning and how if things meet if it meets the zone, then most likely it'll pass. Or there was an exception that you had mentioned in the past at one of the town halls where someone can do something on the floor. I don't remember.
Yeah, so that was one that would happen before me, where they were doing, where they could change the zoning at the council. So the council could change the zoning. There are 2 processes to change the zoning. One is just the normal process, which is you do a rezoning application. The rezoning application comes. So that's what's going to happen with Six Flags if anybody changes whatever the agricultural underlying zone is. They're going to put an application in and say, "We want to do this and that." Then the parking plan is going to send a notice out. You're going to send that hearing notice where you can come in and openly discuss what you want to see there. And then there's going to be a final decision on it, and then it goes to the council for final approval. So that's the path we want people to take, because that way you have to go to the community, the signs have to come up, people have to be on notice something's going to happen. But the other part is called a text amendment. And a text amendment is where a bill comes to change the zoning in the area. What the problem with that is most people don't know that council members, what time council members meet and all those things. So a text amendment does not require any notice to the community, no mailers, no hearing notices, nothing. You can just go to the council member can say, propose a change, and it can change. We do not want to do many of those in our office because the actual text amendment itself was made for mistakes. So that was what the original goal was. Like, if there was basically a slither that is in the middle of an industrial zone and it says residential, and it's clear that it's industrial everywhere, then that would mean that because it's human mistakes, that somebody a parking plan and messed up, and then they didn't catch that area. So now you got a house in the middle of industrial zone. So that makes sense. So a text amendment is to fix that, quick fix. But it's being used to bring new development, things like that, quick things. The problem with that, because the text amendment is quick. That's why developers like it.
Gotcha.
You go to the council, within a couple weeks or 2 months, 3 months, it's changed. But when you have to rezone, you have to send the application in, wait for the hearing, have the hearing, put it, the board has a, that's about 2-3 years, right? 2 years, or it could be less than a year, but the point is it takes more time.
Yeah.
So developers have come and said, oh, we want to do text amendment. But the problem with text amendment is when you don't have the community support,
Yes.
you're going to get what some of the issues we saw with Westphalia, with the change of zoning from commercial to industrial in the middle of a housing community. With the Cameron Grove, they were going to add residential and add apartments across the street. You know, you're going to get people worked out.
Well, speaking of Westphalia, let's talk about that because I know you had a recent update on that. And
Mhm.
so, for the folks that were not able to attend that and haven't heard what the update is, let us know what's going on with Westphalia.
The retail is coming. That's the biggest news. Walton has come in and they've said we're going to turn a new chapter and we're going to be better partners. They've come in. They're going to open the retail. Right now, when we were at ICSC, we were meeting with. They've decided that they wanted to work with a group that's going to just do the retail.
Hey besties, and welcome back to another episode of Tiny Mike Talks with Destiny. Today I will be discussing my experience and, everything great about studying abroad as a Black person. I don't know why I just took that long pause right there, but I'm also going to be doing a Q&A session with some of my followers on my Instagram, and we're going to have a ball today. You're going to have a ball. You're going to hear some great stories too. So, I started college in fall of 2017, came straight out of high school. If you don't know, I attend Bowie State University, the oldest HBCU in Maryland. If you don't know what a HBCU is, it is a historically Black college or university. I originally was not planning to go to Bowie State University. I wanted to go to Norfolk State University, which is also another great HBCU in Virginia. But Bowie State was local and, in-state tuition because, them loans ain't nothing to play with. I decided to go to Bowie State University, and there's problems with, every school, so I can't really put the blame on, Bowie State because it's not really much of a big school. So, yeah, I can't really say any terrible things about the school, but yeah, I'm very appreciative that I was able to go to this school and that I was even able to get into college at all. So I'm not going to talk down on Bowie State. That's not what this podcast episode is for. I'll leave it for another podcast episode. But it was spring 2018, and I was walking through the library. I think I was coming from either a class or from the computer lab, and on the second floor of my school's library, there's like a little poster board where they host like flyers and stuff for different events or any information that may be happening within the campus. So I brought myself to actually look at it one day, to actually like stare at it, like read whatever was on it. And I saw a study abroad opportunity to go to China. And I looked at it, I was like, China, of all places, China. But I wasn't like one of those people who would be like, ew, China, why would I want to go to China? It was more so that I had another country in mind. At the time, I had recently started getting into K-pop, so, it would have been nice to go to Korea, but, you know, getting the experience and the opportunity to go anywhere in the world was far greater than what I personally wanted to do. So I was like, China. So yeah, China. Interesting. China. So I thought about it for a couple days, and I eventually led myself to apply for it because I honestly had not thought about studying abroad. I did think about studying abroad, but not that early. I was still a freshman. It was my second semester. So I was like, I doubt that I'm going to get it anyway. So, I mean, I should just apply because why not? And I called my mom about it. I talked to her about it. I told her everything. Um, I didn't have to pay out of pocket to actually pay for uh, the actual trip. It came out of my financial aid, and all you had to do was really just cover your food and like other expenses that you may do out there. So I ran it by her. She was like, "Yeah, it's a good idea." And I told my dad. He didn't really like it because he doesn't like me traveling or me and my sister traveling for that being. And um he's just, a very ignorant and biased person. I told him it was China. He was like, China? So, he's one of those people. But ultimately, it was my decision. It didn't matter what my parents had said. I was still going to apply. And, I was just letting them know that this was what I was doing. Um, I did the interview for the opportunity. It was a little bit before finals, um, and I thought I aced it. I aced it. It was like 5 people from the administration that was interviewing me, and I I completely aced it. I think some of the questions they asked about was like, what would you do if there was a confrontation that happened between you and like another person that was chosen to go on the trip. And personally, I'm not that type of person to get into a verbal or physical altercation, and I explained that to them, but they kept like asking like, what would you do if it actually happened? But um I'm not a very confrontational person. I like to talk about it first before it heads to that specific moment. So um yeah, I was like, I would never do that, but if the opportunity to happen to punch somebody in the face or hurt them verbally, then I was going to try my best to de-escalate the situation. And yeah, I guess they liked me enough because they chose me to actually get on the cohort for the trip. I remember I was heading into my biology final, and I got the email and it said, "Congratulations, you were picked." And I was so excited. I sent it to my mom. I went into my final. I aced my final, and yeah, the rest is history. I had a feeling I was going to get it anyway. Not to be cocky or anything, but yeah, I was definitely like, yeah, I'm getting this. I know, because I feel like the people at Bowie State. If you know the people at Bowie State, a lot of them are not. I feel like they're not the type to go past what they know. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it wouldn't occur to them that, oh, I would want to go to China. And yeah, I just felt like I had it in the bag. I didn't want to be too cocky though, because I could get humbled very quickly. But um, yeah, I ended up getting it, and they had a few interest meetings before that to actually give information, and we had a meeting afterwards as well for the people that were chosen to go on the trip.
Hello, my name is Veronica Fountain, and I'm the publisher and owner of Simply Bowie Publication. Today, we have a wonderful guest in our studio today. Typically every month, I have and showcase different business owners that come into the studio and showcase their products and services. And today, we have a great guest today. Her name is Dr. Keisha Catlin. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Yeah. She is the principal owner of KC Realty Group, and you probably all know her of the former owner of Proud Mary's Restaurant.
Absolutely.
So welcome to the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. How long have you been a realtor?
Oh my goodness.
You can't even say realtor, broker.
A broker, right? Yes. I came into the industry 5 years ago, and I got my broker license 3 years ago. Okay. Actually. So yeah, it's been an investor all of my life. So I've always invested in real estate, but I decided to get my real estate license in 2020, right before the pandemic, right? So it was good times, but as you know, as an entrepreneur, I went on to get my broker's license to open my own brokerage.
What areas do you cover?
Oh my goodness. So I'm licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Okay. So I'm more so in Prince George's County, Charles County, and a little in Anne Arundel County, but we do a lot in Fairfax, Virginia, as well as Washington, DC.
Is it primarily residential, commercial, a mixture? What is it?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So it's a mixture because as a broker, I do a lot of asset management. So I have a lot of commercial investment clients, but I have owned a brokerage. So I have a lot of new real estate agents in my brokerage. And we do a lot of residential properties. So it's a good mixture.
And they're saying commercial is going to come back.
It is. Yes, it is. It's it's time to go back to work. So all investors are looking for commercial deals, especially office spaces and some retail. Yes. Absolutely, in retail spaces that can kind of like do multi-use. So you can do at the bottom retail and the top, you can have some residential.
As well. Okay. Yes. You mentioned a team. How many is on your team?
So inside my brokerage, I have a total of, I think it's 3 agents. But we have a huge administrative team. So we have transaction coordinators. I have a team of general contractors because we do a lot of property management as well. We have a tenant coordinator. So it's about a good team of like maybe 10 good solid.
That's a good size.
Absolutely.
It's a good size, but it sounds like a big size too.
Exactly.
Walk me through, as a broker, what do you teach your team like to empower them in the transaction process?
Absolutely. So I teach my team that every customer is his own individual. So nobody's the same. There's no cookie cutter, right? But most importantly, be a great listener. Because I feel like when you listen to a client and really understand their exit strategy, because I teach a lot about exit strategy. It's not about buying the house. It's about what's your exit strategy. Is it your dream house? Is it an investment property?
That's good.
What is your goal? Are you going to live here for 30 years or 10 years? Once you understand the exit strategy, you can locate the property that matches their beliefs or what they want to do.
That makes sense, because a lot of time, first of all, being in America, the #1 investment is your home.
Absolutely.
So you never think about the exit strategy of your home. It's like, I'm here forever.
Yes.
you know?
And most of us are not here forever, right? Most of the time, the average is about 7 to 12 years in a property. And then individuals start to think of, should this be an investment now? Should it be a rental property? Or should I sell it and buy my dream home? So we want to understand the exit, because we want to be your partner for life. So
absolutely. And it's almost teaching them a business skill as well. Taking a consumer and educating them to like, exit strategy. And also, what about leaving a legacy? Do you normally cover? What is the importance of that?
The importance of legacy is very important. I have my own children. They're 30 and 27. And so I'm always preaching legacy. It's not about what you do today. It's about the seeds that you plant today to see, watch them bloom, right? So in order to do that in real estate, you have to see where you are, what you can afford today, and what you're trying to accomplish. So if it's legacy, you want to capitalize on that. You want to become a homeowner, but at the same time, you want to make sure that that location is correct. You can pay for it, and that guess what? A renter would love to be here, and you can go on, and that then becomes your legacy. You start to build. So that's our thing at KC Realty Group. We, it's all about partnership, lifetime, legacy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading an article. They were saying there's more houses now than buyers. What do you do with these millennials? And they said millennials are just not purchasing. You know, they will rather rent and really just purchase experiences. You know, like let me just go to Beyonce concert for the weekend versus trying to put that money towards. You know, down payment for a home. What do you do in this crisis right now? What they're saying is, you know,
I call it educate because millennials are smart, right? So we have a thing called Millennials Buy Homes Too. Right?
Okay.
And it's just an educational series. It's like, I understand Beyonce, I get it, I want to be there too, right? I want to do it too. But Beyonce is going back to her legacy.
Exactly.
And so in the meantime, I think it's just teaching them, you know, teaching them entrepreneurship, you know. Sure, you can go to Beyonce, but at the same time, you have to build up your, I call it side hustle. Why not buy investment property if you could? You know, so it's all about teaching and showing. I like to show them, hey, you're renting right now for $2,500, but what if I can show you how to buy? You know, what if I told you about all the down payment assistance you could get, right? So it's all about educating. When I started 5 years ago, that was really my mission. Because my kids are millennials. So I wanted to really teach them, you know, listen, for $2,000, you can actually paint the wall green if you want to, because it's your own, right?
Exactly.
So it's all about educating them. They're the smartest breed, and believe it or not, they have money to do so.
Yes, they do.
But it's just showing them. Let me show you what a Coach bag can do for you. Just leave it on the shelf, right? And look at this asset, right? So,
So, listen, besides Proud Mary's Restaurant, you real estate, hospitality, retail, fashion. You're a movement.
Yes.
Tell me, like, combine all of that you do.
Yes. So I just call it simply being fearless. You know, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I've seen my grandmother be an entrepreneur, right? I've seen my mom be an entrepreneur, my dad an entrepreneur. And so I'm a true entrepreneur, and that is I can start a company, build it up to its highest point, and I love passing it on to someone else. So either selling it, right? Gifting it, whatever it may be, but that's where I thrive. That's my wheelhouse. And they're always in an industry that I love. So I love fashion. Right?
Yes, you look fabulous
I
today.
love fashion. I love hospitality. So that was second nature. We owned Proud Mary's Restaurant for a very long time. We had catering business for a very long time, but it was the people. So industries that thrive around people, that's just really my wheelhouse. And I say, listen, if you have a dream or desire, go for it. You know, if it can fill a void for someone, then hey, you're like halfway there. You know, so.
It's the hair kitchen, baby, and you know what it means. G. Marie gon' come around. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, let's start the show.
Hey hair care hotties, it's your girl G. Marie, and welcome to another episode of The Hair Kitchen. In today's episode, I'll be demonstrating a basic layer haircut and a basic set of finger waves. As you all may have noticed, finger waves are trending right now, and as styles come and go, this one has decided to come back. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned. So the first thing we're going to do is section our mannequin into 4 sections. And we're going to clip each section up and out of the way. 4 sections helps to lay the groundwork for a great haircut, hairstyle, anything that you're doing. You could always start with your 4 basic sections. And as you'll notice, I'm clipping the sections up as I move around the head. What 4 sections does professionally when you're working on a client, it helps you to know where you've started, where you're going, and where you're going to finish. For example, if you get pulled away from your client for a second and you just have the hair loose everywhere, when you come back, you're not going to be as clear as to where you were, as opposed to if you have 4 sections, you'll know exactly where to pick up where you left off. So 4 sections isn't just for beginners, it's for anyone who likes to stay consistent and likes structure and order in their approach to hairstyling. Okay, so I'm going to start the haircut top down. You can start at the bottom, you can start at the top. As you can see, I've dropped my 2 sections in the back, and I'm going to take a small section across the top. I'm going to just take a small section here, and this will use to establish our guide. And our guide is going to be the length of the hair that we plan on cutting, as well as the length of the hair we plan on leaving. So you'll see how long I'm going to leave the hair and what's going to be cut off. So we're taking off about 3 inches, and we're going to follow this guide throughout the entire haircut. And this is a layered haircut, so the guide is traveling, meaning it's not going to stay in the same place the entire time. As you can see, I drop the section, I resection across, and then I find my guide again. As you'll see the guide right there in between my fingers, and the hair that is next to the guide is what we cut to meet the guide. So the guide is a very important part of having a precision haircut. Once you're finished with your client, you'll go through and check to make sure that it's even, but it all starts with following your guide from start to finish. Now, as you can see, I'm cutting it on down to the nape area and following my guide. You'll see the guide really clearly through this section. And you can see it because it's the solid line that's right below my fingers every time I take my section. And when I comb the section up, you see the guide right there. That line is called your guide. And this is a 90-degree state board haircut. So anyone coming in wanting layers, wanting you to take weight out of the hair, if their hair is too bulky and too full, you can use this haircut to help that client feel less weight and less bulk. Now I completely turned the head so that I could continue to see my guide, and you guys will be able to see the guide as well. Every time I comb up a section, you see the line right there at my fingers. That is the guide. And we are leaving the length below and cutting the excess off. You may notice that I am combing the hair slightly toward myself, and that's just to keep me moving around the head properly, because if I comb the hair constantly away from myself, then I am cutting the hair out of the natural growth pattern. And as you can see now, I'm chasing the mannequin head is just moving around, so I have to be careful with how I'm handling the stand because it's not being my friend. so you can see each section. I comb it toward me first. And then comb it straight up, but making sure I'm combing it toward myself to make sure that I'm not over directing left or right, but I'm cutting that hair straight up out of where it grows.
I'm Penny Shaw, Homes of Color. We're here today to interview two phenomenal people, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the meat of the interview.
Hi, my name is Januel Nelson, or Januel Moja as I'm known in the art world.
My name is Alan Uziki Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to school for engineering. Something I could make some money in. Art wasn't one of them, or even thought of it. But I ended up doing art. Being much more famous for art than anything else. Because they didn't have backs doing enough for foundry work, hard work. I didn't work in the fields at all. No field did I ever work in. But my father was a dentist. Now, so I didn't ever work in the field. I wasn't doing no hard labor. But I did go to college.
All right. But you know, one of the interesting things about both of your stories is your love for art, and especially the Afrocentric or the African influence that is played into your artwork. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Okay. This is where I got interested in art. In Southern Illinois. I wasn't thinking at all about art because there was too much other stuff going on. Well, discrimination of riding in cars, buses, whatever you were doing, racism was kicking you. So I didn't think about taking no art. And because
How about you, Januel? I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. The art world became a part of my world very early on. I guess high school, I became interested in fashion. Girls used to like to dress up and go to school, so I became interested. Now, both of my grandmothers sewed, so I had, I guess early on, inspiration and information from both of my grandmothers. The first sewing machine was that I was introduced to was from my grandmother on my father's side. And for more update, where we used to go downtown and my grandmother used to see various items in department stores, and knowing that we couldn't out and out afford them, we would go home and recreate the best of our memories. Something of what was in style was from my mother's mother. So early on, fashion design became a passion, from paper dolls to doing fashion shows as a young woman.
Mm-hmm. What was the first piece that you sold?
I won't tell you this. That was the first one piece I made.
Okay, we'll get a picture of that in a moment. I
wasn't thinking about selling nothing because selling for me was from an engineering point of view. They paid me to do what I was going to do.
Okay.
I didn't go to college. hoping somebody would buy something of mine that would do that didn't enter my mind.
Okay. And with you, Janua, what was the first piece that you saw someone wear of yours and you felt like, I have found my niche?
Like I said, that was early on. I was asked to do a wedding, and then I became known for extra special garments, wedding garments. That would be in the 60s, early and mid 60s. And I was, myself and two partners were the first Black people in Baltimore to have a small boutique in downtown Baltimore. So we were known as Denalua African Shop. And I started doing dashikis and headpieces for men, what do you call it? The kufis. And jewelry, started creating jewelry. And as well as my partners would collect pieces from Africa. So I got involved with that early on and saw the possibilities. But like I said, early on I became interested in making garments that were not for the everyday. And I created for, you ever heard of Sweet Honey in the Rock?
Oh, yes.
I did garments for them for 10 years.
Okay. Now, here's one of those loaded questions. How did you guys hook up together? Or how did you meet and your reunion? How long have you all been married?
47 years.
That's a long time.
47 years.
Welcome to the Let's Talk with Paula show, where we talk about many, many topics. There's so much going on in the world, and you know, so many people are passing away, and you know, it's a lot of celebration that's going on too, because people are still getting married in this day and age, and I'm happy to know that, you know. You know, it's a time that the whole world needs to come together in prayer, and we need to pray for the whole world, for everybody. And my heart goes out to anybody that's has lost a loved one, has lost a pet, you know, those guys that are fighting it, the ones that have passed away in that military, someplace they were, and quite a few of them got killed. So we pray for their families, and we pray for our military that keeps our borders secure. We really do. And not only that, our officers that are on the streets every day trying to keep our safe street for you to live in and the community that you live in, you know. I also thank them for the young boy that was able to come back home from being taken off the street, and they let him come back and graduate. But then we turn around and get another young guy that was supposed to graduate on Sunday, and they took him on Friday. He was at a graduation practice, and they took him, snatched him up. He's an honor student. You know, very nice young boy, never been in trouble, you know, here legally, born here, you know. They picked up the wrong boy again. That's what the news said. They picked up the wrong boy again, and they took him. So now, you know, he missed his graduation on Sunday, so I don't know what that was all about, but that's very sad. that they're messing with these kids that are graduating, you know, in college and productive citizens and, you know, citizens of the United States, you know, and they're just being swept up off the street. And then I'm gonna let my guest host introduce himself, because I can go on and on, because it's just been so much going on that, you know, we can, how you doing today?
Well, good evening. And I'm very happy to be back this evening. So thank you for having me come back. As you said, I'll introduce myself. My name is Donald Bell. I'm an attorney here in Maryland. My office is here in Prince George's County. I've had an office, I maintain an office in Greenbelt. For the last 15 years, I've had an office here in Prince George's County for like the last 21 years. So I'm happy to be back here today. And even under the circumstances what you're talking about, I think is pretty relevant, because, you know, there are a couple things that I wanted to talk to you about today. I think it goes in line with what you're talking about, the topic that we've talked about before. So, you know, when you're ready, you just let me know.
When you're ready, you go ahead. You're my co-host. You go right ahead. You can start right now.
Well, I wanted to really talk to you about, it's a topic that we talked about before, about, you know, people getting themselves together, getting their affairs in order. You know, we talked about, I think we had a catchphrase, get yourself together. You know, and I think it's really relevant in the times that you're talking about people passing away. You know, you work your whole life to acquire assets, to acquire things, you know, and you're very happy with your house, your car, you know, you got a retirement account, you have, you know, you may have life insurance, you may have other assets, you may have like a brokerage account, you know, with like stocks, with bonds, with things of that nature. And a lot of times people don't realize that, you know, we're just one missed wake-up call away from death. You know, from death. And if you don't have your stuff in order, you know, you may have thoughts of how you want those assets to be dispersed among your loved ones and whatnot. But if you haven't
put it on pen and paper.
If you had and put it clearly,
legally,
so there's no ambiguity in terms of who's supposed to get what, then, you know, the state or the government is going to decide who gets what. So I think, you know, it's, you know, based, you know, the conversation we were having before we came on the air, and, you know, something that it's just been on my mind, something that I've been talking to clients about, whether they come in to talk to me about this or not, about just getting your affairs in order. I don't care if you're in your 20s or 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's never too late.
And I have to say, because I had 4 deaths and my dog has passed, and I only had him not even a year yet.
Yeah.
But one of them that died was like 45. Okay, he had called to order some food. When the people came, he was doing fine. This is what amazing me. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, because these people are doing well, except for one of them. They had major surgery, and they were older, right? Yeah. But they were still young, because she was just in her 70s, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm just, based on what the ages that you're talking about, they fit right in where you're talking.
Yes.
And she had the surgery, and you know, they didn't, let me finish telling you about my cousin. Anyway, so when the guy got there to knock on the door, he didn't answer. But he called the food in. They said he sounded all right. So after he didn't answer, he went to the landlord and asked him what he called, check on him, because this guy called for this food. And when they went there, they said, just had passed away. Like he fell out on the floor, and that was it, you know. Yeah. And he keeps in close contact with that part of the family. They said there wasn't anything wrong with him. I said, something's going on. I don't know what it is, who it is, but it just, there's no boundaries, you know.
Yeah.